Happy New Year, sailors. This is your host, Jon Amtrup. I started the season of 23 by going on to Bergen to make Isbjørn, the Swan 48 in the 59 North fleet, ready for a crossing of the North Sea in the end of this month, January. We're going to the Viking Festival up Helja, and I'm really looking forward to some serious winter sailing with some hardy fellow sailors. And it looks like we might be a couple of boats, actually. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. And I'm definitely going to make a podcast out of it. If you want to know more about sailing in the wintertime, I can, without blushing, recommend my book, High Latitude Sailing. You will find it on Amazon. Just clicking, or on my website, explorenorth.no. Click in and have a look around. There's also books about sailing the Norwegian coast, the most beautiful coastline in the world, of course. Now, it's time for a new podcast, and we're kicking off the new year with Jim Dubie. He's the CEO of Ægir Yachting. He has done a lot of sailing in his lifetime. He skippered a boat in the Clip Around the World race. He done the Sydney Hobart, the Fastnet, the Round Britain and Ireland, and lots of other exciting things. I discovered him on a LinkedIn article where he is very outspoken, or he's not holding back like most tough skippers are when it comes to writing about fears and how to be a skipper in tough conditions. So I had to talk to him. So please listen to this, and if you want to know more about Jim and his new adventure where he's going to sail up in my neck of the woods, that's Norway, Svalbard, Greenland, and finally the Northwest Passage, and you might be interested in that. So check out his Facebook page. I have linked it up in the text to this podcast. But in the meantime, listen to this and be inspired. Yes, it's time for a new podcast, and this time we're going to England and Lymington. Hi, Jim.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good. And you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Yeah. Can you describe what you're seeing outside your window now? If it had been light?
Yeah, no lights. I mean, it's we're in we're in Lymington, but in the woods in Lymington, in the New Forest here. So typical UK rain at the moment. So it's a rainy evening in Lymington.
Rainy evening. You get to do any sailing?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of the. I'm an examiner for the Yachtmaster scheme, so I do quite a few exams, usually around the Solent, Southampton sort of area. So yeah, sit there, get wet, and drink tea a lot, which is good.
That's what you Englishmen do, isn't it?
Yeah.
I first noticed you a few days ago when you posted something about an expedition in the Arctic. But
yes,
we're going to get there. But first, can you tell us about how you came into sailing?
Yeah, I mean, I left school, and we have A levels in the UK system. It's sort of higher level, and I walked out of school because I just didn't want to be at school anymore. And my dad said, "Okay, I'll do one more thing for you. I'll send you to this place on Cowes on the Isle of Wight called the United Kingdom Sailing Academy." And at the time, I was heavily into windsurfing. I'd never been on a yacht, never knew there was a career in yachting, but a part of the program was the Yachtmasters. And so I got my Yachtmasters when I was 18, and realised that this was actually quite a cool thing to do, and and then sort of started, as many people do, went off to Greece and Turkey, worked for Sunsail and all those sort of charter companies, and never looked back, and just sailed from there. And that's, apart from 2 years as a scuba diving instructor, I've always done sailing, always been in the sailing industry, and that's been from super yachts to racing yachts to deliveries to expeditions, to sort of, I think, pretty much all aspects of the yachting industry. So it's been great fun.
Yeah. What was it? Did sailing keep you out of trouble, or was it just the way to go?
No, it
Yeah.
kept me. It did keep me out of trouble. It wasn't. It was sort of, windsurfing was my go to. It was.
Yeah.
I could just be on my own, get out there on the water. It was before the sort of nanny state, so it was, you had the freedom to go and just do it. And I've always loved the sea. I've always loved the water. And yeah, it was just that sort of connection, and and so yachts weren't really a part of my life at all. And I'd seen yachts on the water, but I'd never even thought about sailing in yachts. But yeah, certainly, it's the angry youth, looking for a way out, looking for
Yeah.
that sort of story there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And you've done a lot of racing, haven't you? You've been
Yes.
around the world, for instance.
Yeah, so I did the Clipper Round the World Yacht Race in 2009, 2010.
Yep.
And then, Sydney Hobart races, Fastnet races, round Britain and Ireland, and then all sorts of, other races, mostly offshore ocean racing. Yeah.
Cool. I just read your article about the one time you were knocked down in the South Pacific.
Yeah, in the
And that
North
was,
Pacific. Yeah.
sorry, yeah. And that was brutally honest.
Yeah, I'd wanted to. So I'd written an article for Yachting Monthly a bit earlier, and I think it was, I don't know how to, so a polished version of the events. It was it was sort of very much a stoic. Yes, we got through it, and we were very brave and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the honesty about it and the brutal reality of what happens at sea gets a bit lost. It's always, well, not always, but a lot of the time it's glamorized. It's seen as a battle against the elements, and you come out stronger and full of bravery and stuff. Whereas in my experience, it has scared me. It has, it's caused me to really to worry about. And I think because I was in a position where I was the only qualified person on board, and I think I had 17 crew on board, so it's quite a lot of people when you're in the middle of nowhere. It really hit home, and I think I just wanted to maybe tell a story that's not told. It's that there is another side to sailing. There's a I guess an emotional, physical side to it, which may not always come out in what we read in articles or stories we tell. So yes, I wanted to bring it's not that it was dishonest, but I wanted to bring an honest opinion, an honest sort of count of how I was feeling at the time, and what was going through my mind.
Yeah, can you tell us what happened when you were knocked down? Give us a little feel about the conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive low pressure system which was tracking across the North Pacific. So we were, I think, about 2,000 miles from any land at that point. We were going from Qingdao in China to San Francisco, and this huge load just barreled towards us, and it was a textbook. The swells were building, the cloud base was coming down, the wind was increasing. And to sort of, we went from, under spinnaker to poled out headsail to storm jib to trysail, and finally just to bare poles. And we were still even under bare poles, we were still doing 10, 12 knots, going down. We were going downwind at the time, and it was at that point I was on deck. It was dusk, so it was starting to lose the light, and I was sitting next to the person on the helm, and I just heard this huge noise. It was like a freight train, and then just boom. The weight of water was incredible, and what it did, I was clipped on, but it took me over the side, over the guardrails, and for a sort of split second, I thought, "Oh my God, am I clipped on?" You know, and but I was clipped on, and so I was in the water, and then as the boat it obviously got knocked down, we went on our side, and then as we came up, I managed to hold on to the guardrails and sort of hold on, which pulled me back on board. Yeah. And then when I came on board, I looked at where the helm had been, and it was flattened. It was absolutely flattened. The wheel, the whole thing was on the deck, and we had a big sliding companionway, and that the whole structure had gone, just disappeared, just wasn't there. And then my helm, the guy in the helm, the wave had pushed him into the helm, so he broke the steering. I blame it on him. so he flattened the steering, but the water sucking out the boat sucked him over onto the transom. So initially I couldn't see him. So of course I was thinking man overboard, and then thinking how the hell am I going to get someone overboard when I've got no steering and an emergency and blah blah blah. But luckily he was actually just clipped onto the transom. And poor guy, I mean, I remember just screaming at him, going, "Get back on board! What are you doing? What are you doing?" Poor guy had just been flattened and then he's got me being angry at him. I mean, I was obviously in a bit of shock myself.
Yeah.
But so we got him on board, and cut a long story short, we managed to get the emergency tiller out. We had some storm boards. We made a cover for the hatches. We got rid of all the water down below. And luckily, the two people that got hurt, I got hurt. I think my shins hit the guardrail when I went over, so they were quite badly bruised. And the helm, obviously, when he got pushed into the helm, he had a big bruise on his leg. But apart from that, that was the only real injuries, so it was excitement, frightening, terrifying, everything rolled into and plus I'd been completely washed through by the North Pacific, so I was freezing cold as well.
Yeah.
So
because in the article you talk about all this, but you also talk about how you don't know exactly what to do, because you were under the Genoa 4 and were quite hesitant about taking it down and going for bare poles.
Yeah.
And I seldom read those kind of dispositions from skippers that are way out in the ocean. They just do the shit and save the day.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think at some point you come to the end of your experience, and you have to go beyond that. And so you can read all the books about heavy weather sailing and everything. You can do it, and we did it. We went from. I mean, the only thing we didn't carry a drogue, and we didn't trail warps and all of that. So I just didn't want to get involved with all that mess. So I really, and the biggest problem I had was, if I lose my sails, do I keep my steerage? Because it was screaming at me that you cannot possibly take down all your sails and be able to control the boat. You can't do it. But I did it, and it did work. I still had steerage, and it's still and because it just stopped me having so much speed to fall down the wave, if that makes sense. I was going slow enough not to overtake a wave and go down, and that's what it did. But yeah, I was I was at the limits of and exceeded the limits of my experience. From when I took that. Well, to be fair, when I put the triacetyl up, that was the first time I'd ever done that in anger, and that didn't work. I mean, that was useless. It was 6 hours of my time I never want to go through again. it was because obviously I was going downwind, so there was just no point doing it.
No.
And I think at the time I was 29, and so it's not young, but it's relatively young considering where I am now and the experience you gain as you go through. So it was that case of it was just, and I don't. At the time, I don't think I was thinking it through. It wasn't a case of. It was just, well, this isn't working. Let's try something else. Or this isn't working. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
I think it's just keep doing something, and hopefully something will work. Eventually.
Yeah.
And that was what I was doing. Yeah. It was a process of elimination, I guess.
Yeah. And after the incident with the knockdown, you had a call from the race office.
Yes.
And the answer you gave wasn't the answer that was going in onto your head, was it?
No, I mean the answer I gave was Lizzie.
Are you okay?
Called me. Yeah, are you okay? and it's like, yeah, I'm fine. And it's like, I am not fine. I am nowhere near fine at this point in time. Excuse my language, I am shitting myself. I've just been injured. I'm freezing cold. I thought I was going to die. I thought my crew were going to die. And I guess at that time I was in shock as well. And yeah, it's that sort of. I can't. I don't even know if you can say it's a British thing. It's just what she couldn't have done anything anyway. I mean, there was nothing she could have done. So, that being said, later on in emails and stuff, I managed to sort of, maybe not in what I wanted to, but I managed to say, look, I'm probably far from okay at the moment, but I've got no, and that's the thing. I had no choice. There was no other option. I had to get through it. I had to keep going. But okay, I was not. I was not okay. No.
How was the rest of the crew?
They were fine. I mean, in many ways, because it's the Clipper race and because the majority of the people doing it, apart from, I mean, they obviously go through training. There's 4 weeks training, but they're not. I wouldn't say they're experienced. Most of them aren't experienced sailors. There are some that have done a bit more sailing, and so I think they all took it as part and parcel. They weren't. I don't think they appreciated how worried I was and how let's be honest, how scared I was at the time for what was going on. And I think it maybe I've got a poker face that I just managed to have this sort of everything's fine, don't worry about it, just a few waves. So yeah, I mean, but they were fine. I mean, I think they had a bit of a scare when we got knocked down. They probably realised at that point this isn't a normal occurrence. But I think I think when you're a crew member and you get through something, it's a good story to have in a pub. It's a good story down the line. I think when you're a skipper or someone who's got responsibility, it's a different kind of feeling, a different kind of mentality. So I think
you're also you're also writing about just after the incident you were told to divert to another boat that was in more trouble than you guys, and that in fact helped on the mood on the boat because you had to think about something else.
Yeah, exactly right. So we had a yacht. So I was on a boat called uniquely Singapore, and there was another yacht called Scene California, and so they had been knocked down as well. And so they were only, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles away from us when it happened. So we both went through the same system, and they were ahead of us. And so they got knocked down, and they lost their mast. So they lost their mast, and they lost when they got knocked down, the water poured in and it hit all the electrics. So we went. Funny enough, we went down to port, and the water went down the heads. They went down to starboard, and the water went straight into their nav station. Right. So they lost all communication. So they had nothing, and so they activated their EPIRB, and so all we had was their EPIRB, and the only way they knew they were okay really was their EPIRB started doing 6 knots. So they'd put their engine on and started motoring towards San Francisco.
Yeah. And
so we were then tasked to go to their assistance. And I think it was probably one of the best things because, as you say, you know, when you're sort of trying to deal with your problems, and you probably get a little bit sucked in, a little bit, you know, blinkered as that. I don't know, you get blinkered in that. But if somebody else has a problem, it immediately, I don't know, takes, in a funny way, it took the pressure off and was like, right, we need to go help these people. You know, we knew them well. I knew the skipper, Pete, very well, and we knew some of the crew. And so naturally, you know, regardless, you'd want to help anyway, but we knew these people, so we wanted to go help them as much as we could. And so yeah, so it was most of the fleet actually diverted. You know, we had, I don't know, 6 boats behind us, and we all went to them, and we ended up, so we transferred about 500 litres of diesel to them, so they could motor the rest. So that we said had 2,500 miles to go, I think, or whatever. So they had to motor about 2,500 miles to get to San Francisco. So yeah, so it was an exciting 25 days. I can't remember how long it took, but yeah, it was a good time.
But, yeah, as you say, when you're out there, you really don't have an option you can't quit.
No,
it's not. No, and especially not as a skipper. That's not even on the table. But when you got to the next port, did you think twice about stepping aboard again?
So it was funny. In the next port, I didn't think about leaving. That because I think when we went, you know, under the Golden Gate in San Francisco, under Spinnaker, and you arrived, and there was that relief that we'd made it, we got through it. And I think the almost, let's call it joy or whatever it was that sort of emotion of, you know, it's done, it's sort of, we got through it. And then, so I had some time off. And to be honest, at that stage, because it was quite busy anyway, we were looking at repairing the yacht and all of that stuff. So it was a fairly busy stopover. So at that time, no, it didn't. I didn't think about stopping. It was the next race. It was when we left California and we were going down. So we left San Francisco and we're going down to the Panama to go through the canal.
Yeah.
And I think I wrote about it in the article as well. It was early. I think it was the second night we were going downwind under Spinnaker, and it was nothing at all like the Pacific. You know, you couldn't compare it. It was I don't know, we had 30 knots or something like that. So it was stuff we'd done a lot. And it got dark. We were at night, and this wave, it didn't come over us or anything like that. It was just a wave that came and just, you know, how they hit and splash up.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
It was just like that, and that completely spooked me. It completely, you know, just um, whatever brought back the moment of being in that wave. And so it was at that point that, I'd say I bottled it. I just went, you know what, let's get the Spinnaker down, let's go pole that head sail, let's go very safe. And we did, and obviously we lost ground, and we lost the race actually on that night because we couldn't regain the miles we lost. And it was really then that I was like, wow, okay, what am I doing here? Because it was the first time that I'd ever had that kind of reaction to something that, you know what I mean? It sort of to come back. And yeah, that for me, that was my long race. That was my darkest. Let's not be over dramatic, but it was a tough race because I really didn't want to be there. I just felt like the stress and it just felt very overwhelming at that point.
But was it? Did the fact that you lost the race contribute to it? Are you a very competitive person?
Definitely competitive. And I think it was the fact that so we had gone through the South Atlantic, we'd gone through the Indian Southern Ocean, we're right on the border. So, and we'd been on the kite in 45 knots. We'd been in some hairy situations before, this wasn't anything new. And I think for me, it was the first time that I'd ever, we're talking quite a while ago, so, but I think it was the first time for me that I'd actually not enjoyed being out on the water. I wasn't enjoying the racing. I just felt like this wasn't this wasn't where I wanted to be, and it was quite a it was quite a tough moment to sort of get to grips with it. And again, there's no one you can talk to. There's nobody really. You can't pick the phone up and say you're just trying to deal with this on your own.
Yeah, while you're sailing. Yeah. But how did you manage to bounce back?
So I think in some ways the actual physical of the gate of the locks closing on the Pacific. So when we went through the canal, the locks shut. The Pacific was stuck over there. We were going into the Atlantic. I'd sailed the Atlantic, I don't know, loads of times. It was somewhere I knew very well. And so I think almost it was a case of leaving it behind, if that makes sense. So and the actual lock shutting, I was shutting down on the Pacific, so I could leave that behind and go forwards from there. Cool. Probably other stuff happened, there probably were chats and talks and all of that lot along the way, but yeah, that's it. But I think that was probably the one of the biggest things was shutting it up, literally shutting it off. Yeah.
Getting out of it. Yeah. Have you ever returned?
So I have yet not returned to the Pacific. No.
Good.
No.
Any plans?
I'm not in a rush to go to the North Pacific, but I would love to go back to. I mean, I love the Pacific. It's a beautiful place. And possibly I need to go and do it again. So, let's wait and see.
You worked as a trainer for the Clipper race. Are you still involved?
No, not with Clipper. No. So I when I left, I think I left in 2014. So I did the race and then became the chief instructor for Clipper, and was there till 2014. Yeah. So yeah, no, I haven't been involved with Clipper for a long time.
No. Was that experience you had in the Pacific part of the curriculum that you taught to the?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was part of the. I don't think it ever went in specifically into the curriculum, but it was part of the. I think people knew the story enough to sort of go, well, the gym got knocked down in the Pacific,
Yeah.
and all of it stuff. So yeah, it did follow it through a bit, yeah.
Yeah. And how did you transform that experience to learning points?
So it's a very strange one because if you look at a lot of these heavy weather sailing books and stuff, they all carry on about going hove to, and they always go on about trailing warps and all of that lot, and so the only thing we didn't have is a drogue. So in my head, I'm wondering, would it have made a difference? I don't know is the answer. But I think for me, it was a unique sort of, what am I trying to say? You're not going to put yourself in those conditions. The general sailing public are not going to put themselves in those positions. It was a North Pacific. Sorry, it was a North Pacific. It was March. It's not the friendliest place in the world to go sailing. Okay, I know. Don't get me wrong. I know there are people that do it and are happy in that, but 90% of sailors aren't going to be in those positions. And I think it was the duration of it. It was the build up. It was 2, 3, 4 days. The whole process, from sort of where it started approaching to really coming in and sort of. So it was quite a long. Whereas most lows come in quite quickly. There's quite a bit of excitement, and then it's gone. So it's a fairly swift, fast process. Whereas this was just quite a long haul. A trysail to me was just impossible. I mean, the idea of when it's in the book, it all makes sense. It goes, yeah, of course, you put the trysail up and stuff. But anyone who's ever done it in anger, getting a mainsail down and then getting it nice and tidy over a boom, getting it laced up and looped up, and then getting this bloody trysail to go up the track where you got a mainsail coming down when it's flapping around and whipping you, and it's just bonkers, So I would just go the storm jib, forget about the trysail. I know people are probably screaming. They go, no, you must use a trysail and all that, but I just found it just impossible.
Yeah,
it just wouldn't do it. So it's a case, and I think as well because it was a race, there was this in the background. There was always this pressure of keep on going forwards. Yeah. So the idea of stopping, going hove to, didn't even cross my mind, to be honest.
It's very racy.
No. Yeah. Would I have done it differently if it had just been just sailing it? I would have probably tried it. Yes, yeah, and I'd probably tried it earlier. Definitely, just to see what it would have done. But it was the mentality, the step from going downwind to turning it. It was just a step too far for me at the time. I just couldn't make that call. Now, if it happened to me now, I probably would have tried it at least just to see what it would have done.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think.
How do you feel about the fourth reef instead of a trysail?
I think fourth reef would be ideal. We only had 3 reefs when we did it.
Yep.
We didn't have a fourth reef, but I definitely would really, really say fourth reef is a great idea. Anything to just stop getting that bloody trysail out. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you did the Sydney Hobart race, you were happy to do the trysail thing in the harbour.
Yeah, well, you had to. You had no choice.
Yeah, flat calm, and all the orange sails up, and everything's good.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you had a beautifully inflated mainsail, so it was perfectly flat.
Yeah,
And you could put it up, and
yeah,
you do that for the Fastnet, you do it for the Sydney Hobart, and
yeah,
I think I get why you do it, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying but I just
no,
think the reality of doing it when you need to do it is, and how do you know? You know,
yeah,
how do you know? Until you need it, you don't know.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
it's it's one of those things. But
yeah,
but practice does help for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Of course,
no
of
doubt.
course. Clipper race has been a career boost for a lot of skippers.
Yeah.
How did it work out for you?
So it worked out, yeah, really well. I mean, when I finished the race, I became chief instructor
Yeah,
for Clipper. So I ran the training, uh, and then I set up the training base in Australia in Sydney for them, um, and that doing that actually got me to sail with Sir Robin Knox Johnson in the Sydney Hobarts. He was my navigator in the last one I did. So that was a very cool sort of
ooh, that's
uh,
nice.
a very cool thing.
Yeah,
Um, but I think it gives you. So for and let's face it, if I was any good at racing, I wouldn't be in the Clipper race. If that makes sense, there's the Alex Thompsons, although he did do the Clipper race initially, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
There's the America's Cup and
yeah,
all of
yeah,
that. Well, not even,
yeah,
but
yeah,
so but what the Clipper race does, it gives you such a we talked about everything, and now I'm going to say confident, but it does give you a confidence booster. You
yeah,
take people around the world who don't. I won't do them disservice. Most of them who don't know how to sail when they start the training, they do. So back when I was there, we did 4 weeks training. I don't know what they do now, but it's probably very similar.
yeah,
Um, and it's not. It's I think it's the management of the crew. It's the handling the personalities. It's handling look, what is it? 20% sailing, 80% controlling crew and
yeah,
problems
yeah,
and maintenance
yeah,
and all of that stuff. I mean, it's
yeah,
it's a remarkable thing to do, and and I think, and of course, I'm very biased about it. But if you are a clipper skipper and you do it, then you've got to be somehow fairly confident in your abilities.
yeah.
You know, but um, but
Because
for me, I don't really. It doesn't matter what other people think about it. It's what it did for me, which was the most important thing, and it just gave me that
yeah,
confidence and that experience, which I'll never forget. Which will always be with me,
yeah,
good and bad. So it's always
yeah.
there.
No, but it has to be one of the most extreme leadership, not courses, but
Yeah,
situations you put. Yeah, you said you had 16, 17 people on board at
yeah,
any given time, and you change crew during the race, so it's new faces, new problems, new challenges. So it has
yeah.
to be yeah,
It's and it's a fascinating look um, into people and what people can achieve. So what people think they are capable of, and then what they actually are capable of, are very different things. And I've seen people do some extraordinary things, and that's allowed them to be able to do that.
yeah,
And I think for me, that's what Clipper is. And I know it's a cliche and all of that stuff, but it does. Ordinary people do extraordinary things. It is an extraordinary thing what it does,
yeah,
and I think it enables people to see what they can actually do,
yeah,
which is I think the best thing about it. Yeah.
yeah. I had two friends who have done it,
Hmm.
and yeah, that's memories for life. They can't
Yeah.
stop talking about it. Yeah.
No. No. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, no. There's something sensible in there too, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Okay, let's go to expedition sailing then, because
Mm.
you ended up there too. Because
Yeah,
clipper race is, is an expedition that too, but yeah.
sure.
But how did you end up there?
So that really came. So after I left Clipper, I went. I became freelance. So I just wanted the freedom to be able to really do what I. It's not do what I wanted because you still have to work, but
Yep.
have the sort of more control over where I went and who I sailed with. So yeah. Um, and and since probably 2014, it's been a mixture of, I don't know, examining, of being just a general skipper for charters, and then we did a lot of was it, yeah, last year, not last year actually, 20, where are we now, 2021, I did a lot of sailing up in Scotland, up in the Hebrides and stuff around there,
Ooh,
which
nice.
I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Um, and then a lot of it has been deliveries, but usually owner is, assisting the owner in delivery. So more of a instructional delivery, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
generally I'll get a call and I've just bought a Swan 43, a Swan 44, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to take it down UK, down to the Med. Can you help me do it? And
Yeah.
and then it's sort of that side of things. I and then from, yeah, all sorts, from the Kiel Canal. I went to Helgoland a few years ago,
Oh,
which was I did the racing series around there, which was really cool, very cool.
nice.
And then up to Stockholm, we took a yacht. But yeah, so it's all sorts of
Yeah.
bits and bobs, and then the expeditions. Or the one I'm, obviously starting to look at planning is sort of just going on from there.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's the thing you launched just after Christmas, isn't it?
Hmm.
With the company Ager Yachting and Ager. That's Nordic.
It is
That's
Nordic.
my that's my territory. So,
Yeah, I stole it. Yeah.
how did you come up with that name?
I looked it up. It was Norse. I was looking at
Yeah.
ruins, the ruins and stuff, and yeah, and I saw it, and it was the god of the sea,
Yep.
and I was like, well, sounds good to me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
was
Sounds
wasn't
good.
wasn't trademarked, so I was like, there we go.
Yeah, sounds good for the expedition you're planning too. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's looking. So it's a very selfish thing I want to do. I want to go and I want to do the Northwest Passage, and I've
Yeah.
always, for many years, I wanted to do it, and I, read as a child. I read books and all of that stuff about, you go for Scott and Amundsen and all of the sort of polar explorers and all of this stuff. And Northwest Passage, I didn't know what it was, but it just stuck in my head. There's something called Northwest
Yeah.
Passage. And then sort of, 7-8 years ago, they started, you started seeing reports of yachts actually going through and doing it. And I think you've gone through. Have you gone through? I can't.
No, I've
No.
not gone through, but
No.
Bob Shepton, who I
Yep.
wrote High Latitude Sailing with,
Yes.
he's gone
Yeah.
through 2 times, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep,
So yeah, so it was a case of, and so it's been sitting in the back of my head, and I was being like, okay, I'll park it for a minute, get on, do, and then now it's a case of, right. So I know that if I want to get this together, it's not something I'm going to do this year. It might not even be something I do next year. It's
yeah,
going to take,
the long term, yeah,
it's going to take a lot of planning and preparation to do it. And even if we attempt to do it, we might not get through anyway. So
yeah,
it could be 5 years. But anyway, it's
yeah,
it's the ultimate goal is the Northwest Passage, and it's planning a route for people who want to do it, with the training and gaining experience beforehand. So doing high latitude sailing, Svalbard, Iceland, Greenland, a lot of what you do,
yeah, yeah,
um, and are doing now actually,
yeah,
um, and sort of so people are gaining the experience, Because what I don't want to do is people to turn up and say, right, let's go. You know, it's not an Everest. It's not someone's going to carry your bag for you up the mountain. And no disrespect to people, but you know what I mean. It's not looking for passengers. We're looking for people who want to actually get involved with all of it, and build a crew and a team that will. Because I think if you want to earn the, maybe sounds a bit pretentious, but if you want to earn the right to do something like the Northwest Passage, you need to be able to put. Okay, there's finances, yes, we know that, but the time and the effort and the just the research. I don't need to tell you. I mean, you know it all, but you know what I mean. It takes it takes a mentality to be able to do that. And let's be honest, it's something I'm not ready to do at the moment. I haven't had the training. I don't have the skills yet, and I need to build up as much as anyone else. So that's the plan. And so it was. I think it was I put a 5-year sort of plan on it with the first 2 years when it actually starts. And not saying this, but the first 2 years with the training and the planning and sort of the high latitude sailing before third or fourth year, depending how it's going and all of that stuff, to do the attempt at the passage itself.
Sounds like a very sound approach to it, and the training itself that you're planning is just as much as an adventure, or
exactly,
as the Northwest Passage, because sailing to Svalbard or Greenland or Iceland or the Norwegian coast.
Even just saying those names, you know, it's just amazing. It's fascinating anyway, you know. I mean, very few people get to sail. I know people can jump on a plane or whatever, but to sail to Svalbard or Iceland or Greenland, it's in itself, it's an amazing experience. And even doing that trip, you need training before you go on those. Because it's not just something you go and do. You know, you need. Well, okay. Some people can go and do it because it's their yacht and they can do what they like. But you know, I think the duty of care is to make sure that you're looking after people and have that training and all of that side of things. So
and the fact that you're inviting 4 or 5 co-owners.
Yeah, so it's up to So we're sort of looking at about. So it was 6 individuals, or a mixture of individuals and couples or whatever. But it's enough people to you know, obviously be crew for the Northwest Passage down the line, but then be able to, you know, they're not all going to be able to do all the trips, the training trips together, but at least there'll be options, because people are time poor. You know, people are busy, they've got busy lifestyles, they can only take, and I get that. So if you put enough trips in, and the idea being is any sort of extra sort of berths, or you can then sell those as training, you know, expedition berths and stuff. So it'd be a commercial yacht. It'll be commercially coded. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you started looking at boats?
I have started.
Fairly stupid question, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, God, where do you start? I mean, obviously you go to one end, which is the best ever, you know, the best ever yachts.
Yes,
yeah. And then you look at the price and you go, but maybe not. And then there's obviously that sort of perennial steel, aluminium, fiberglass. You know, where'd you go? What do you? I mean, if you look at a steel yacht, but they're old, so you've got problems there with hulls. You got aluminium, and again, it's really and it's not. There's not a big pool of yachts available for unless you want to do some big, you know, take it out of the water and spend a year doing a lot of work on them. You got quite a limited what's the word, I guess, and especially if you want to get it commercially coded, then you're also limiting your
definitely.
your thing.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating, it's interesting, but you're like, wow, yeah, it takes, but it's it's part of it, isn't it? It's the
Yeah, yeah,
part of the
yeah.
process.
Part of the fun. And in these days where everyone is talking about, I'm not sure what the English word is, shared economy, that not everyone has to own their own boats,
Yes,
but you share a boat. This
yeah,
is the, yeah, instead of taking a cruise to Antarctica, you can buy a part of a sailing yacht and be a part of a bigger thing.
yeah, exactly. I think you get more from it. I mean, I think if you went on a cruise and you went, you'd obviously get that experience, and you'd have someone probably telling you, but and I know it's being on the water,
Yeah.
being right there. It's a totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been on a cruise, so I don't know, but
No, can imagine. Yeah.
yeah, I suspect
Yeah.
it's a very different. It's a very different thing than sailing, where you're, and also being part of something that involves you. So if you're not involved, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen. It's not going to work. You need everybody bring something to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
So I think it's that, and I also think that the fact that you have ownership in it means you have more of an interest in the yacht, if that makes sense. Not only in the sailing,
Yeah.
but in the upkeep and the caring for the yacht,
Yeah.
in everything about it. It's sort of you're going to be more in, obviously, because you put money into it, but more
Yeah.
more engaged in the whole process. It's not like you turn up, do 2 weeks, and then walk away.
No.
No, so you've got
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
ongoing commitment to it.
Yeah.
Um,
But the plot is you're gonna be the skipper, full
yes,
time trainer. Yeah.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
Are you
So,
thinking about sailing the whole 5 years non-stop, or are you
no. So we'll
like,
do it in
no,
stages.
no?
We'll put it in
Yeah.
breaks,
Yeah.
and I think maybe some parts of it there will be another skipper. We'll maybe. I mean, because I think part of the other part of it is having potentially having a first mate on board as well,
Yep.
and then it would be nice to be able to get someone good enough to be able, because let's face it, if something happens to me, then we need someone else to be able to step in.
Yeah.
Um, there does need to be another person,
Yeah.
and it'll be good to you know going back to the Clipper experience. It'd be good to have someone else there who you can you know
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
that sort of trust relying on as you're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not
yeah.
bad. Not bad. So that's what you're working on right now.
So I'm in the very early stages. So at the moment, I'm gathering
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
Um, well, the thing that I do at the moment is I manage a 26-meter catch in Greece in the Mediterranean,
Great.
and then this now is obviously at that stage of getting the interest, and then obviously working on putting the plan together, and then I'll be looking at yachts,
Hmm.
seriously looking at yachts,
Yeah.
surveys, pre-surveys, all of that kind of stuff. And then, so, I mean, I'm hopeful that, by the start of the summer, we'll have enough people to seriously start looking at yachts. And it'd be nice to be able, and this is wishful thinking, but it would be nice to be in a position to have bought a yacht by the end of summer, early autumn, to at least do one trip.
Yeah.
Say the Faroe Islands. I know it's not high latitude, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Somewhere
No, no.
to do
Yeah.
a trip or something. Yeah,
Yep.
and then
Get started.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then possibly keep the yacht up in Scotland so we can go out and sort of do some training over winter and and,
Hmm.
and gently start to sort of get to know the boat and all of that side of things.
Cool.
Yeah.
And people can find more information about this on your Facebook page?
Yeah,
Yachting?
at the moment, it's Facebook page.
Yep.
And Aiger Yachting, yeah, is the best
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And then yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the text for the podcast.
Perfect.
Perfect, Jim. We're getting on, closing on to an hour now, so I think we're gonna finish up. Anything famous last words?
Nothing famous, no. Nothing famous. So,
no, it was really nice and interesting to talk to you. And
Thank you.
when you get this new project of yours together, we definitely have to talk some more.
Yeah, well, I need to come and pick your brains. I need to come and
fun. Yeah, no. Just give me a call.
Definitely. All right.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, John. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope you found it interesting. If you want to know more about high latitude sailing, I can highly recommend, without blushing, the book I wrote together with Bob Shepton, High Latitude Sailing, Self-Sufficient Sailing Techniques for Cold Waters and Winter Seasons. You'll find it on Amazon, on explorenorth.no. You can follow the link to buy a hard copy. And there's also a lot of other books there that you might find interesting. Other than that, keep on sailing, guys.